hidden in Star Trek's first 10 minutes, a clue that predicts the ending. Missed it? Let's blow your mind. The film Star Trek 2009 begins by introducing a man named Nero, whose home planet has been destroyed. Despite having highly advanced technology, no one was able to save Nero's planet, and its people perished, except for Nero and a few of his companions. Filled with rage and grief, Nero vows to take revenge on those who fail to help, particularly targeting Earth and its people. Meanwhile, a spaceship is shown on a mission to rescue another planet. The captain of a ship notices a large black hole from which an enormous vessel emerges. It belongs to Nero, who has used the black hole to travel through time. Nero confronts the ship's captain and demands information about someone named Spock. When the captain denies knowing him, Nero realizes he may have arrived at the wrong time. In frustration, he kills the captain and attacks the rest of the crew. A second officer then takes control, preparing to crash his small ship into Nero's vessel in a desperate attempt to save the others. That on board is his pregnant wife, who soon gives birth to a boy named James. The officer sacrifices himself by ramming into Nero's ship, saving everyone, including his newborn son and wife. Years pass, and young James grows into a rebellious teen, stealing his stepfather's car and leading the police on a high-speed chase. He crashes but survives. On another planet, a young Spock is shown to be highly intelligent but rejected by his people due to his half-human heritage. Though brilliant, he is never fully accepted, and this alienation weighs heavily on him as he grows older. James, on the other hand, becomes more reckless. One day, he flirts with a girl in a bar and ends up getting into a fight with security guards. A Starfleet captain intervenes, telling James he once served with his heroic father and encourages him to join Starfleet Academy. Though skeptical, James is moved by the man's words and enrolls. There, he sees the same girl again and undergoes rigorous training alongside other cadets. 3 years later, the cadets must pass a final simulation designed by Spock to test leadership in the face of failure. James passes in an unorthodox way, leading Spock to accuse him of cheating. In court, Spock argues that the test was meant to simulate loss, but James treated it like a game. Their argument is interrupted when a real emergency arises. A ship is trapped near a black hole, just like the one that killed James's father. The crew prepares to rescue the trapped ship, but James is grounded due to disciplinary action. His friend sneaks him aboard using a medical injection that causes temporary swelling and confusion. Once on board, James warns them not to approach the black hole, believing it to be a trap. His warnings go unheeded, and the ship heads directly into danger, discovering that Nero is behind the trap. Nero demands the surrender of the ship's captain, who plans a secret infiltration of Nero's ship first. James and another crew member parachute onto Nero's drill tower. Though one of them dies during the descent, James succeeds in battling Nero's men and sending a signal back. Meanwhile, Nero deploys a device to create an artificial black hole aimed at destroying Spock's planet. Though James is beamed back in time, Spock loses his mother and watches his home world be obliterated. Despite the devastation, Spock remains emotionally stoic. Nero captures the ship's captain and tortures him for Starfleet information. James urges Spock to mount a rescue, but Spock refuses and ejects James from the ship. James crash lands on an icy planet where he's attacked by monstrous creatures. He's rescued by none other than an older Spock from the future. Future Spock explains that he tried to save Nero's planet using red matter, but accidentally destroyed it, leading Nero to seek revenge across time. Future Spock then introduces James to an eccentric engineer who explains how to warp back to their ship. James asks the elder Spock to come along, but he declines, instead advising James to provoke young Spock's emotions to gain control of the ship. James and the engineer teleport back aboard. Spock is shocked to see James again and orders his arrest. James confronts Spock about the destruction of his planet and his mother's death, which enrages him. Spock attacks James, but is eventually stopped by his father. Realizing he has lost control of his emotions, Spock relinquishes command, and James becomes the new captain. With future knowledge and technology, James prepares a counterattack. Meanwhile, Nero begins drilling into the Earth. James and Spock teleport to Nero's ship. Spock steals Nero's weapon while James searches for the kidnapped captain. James is captured, but Spock's theft of the red matter device distracts Nero. James kills Nero's crew while Spock destroys the drill. He then releases the red matter inside Nero's ship, creating a black hole. The trio, James, Spock, and their captain, teleport back to safety as Nero's ship is consumed. However, their vessel is being pulled into the black hole. The engineer, with his futuristic knowledge, detonates explosives to create a shockwave that pushes them out of danger. Back on Earth, young Spock meets his older self, who assures him that he and James will one day become great friends. He also reveals the discovery of a new planet where Spock's people can rebuild. James is officially made captain of the Enterprise, 8 years earlier than expected. He sets off for more space adventures, marking the beginning of a legendary journey. And with that, the film concludes that first 10 minutes. Nero travels through a black hole and kills James Kirk's father, setting the stage for everything. That black hole? It's the same weapon Nero uses later to destroy planets. The clue: the film begins and ends with Nero, time travel, and sacrifice. The ending was hiding in plain sight. If this recap changed your mind about Star Trek Smash Like. If it didn't, fight me in the comments. Be subscribed to enjoy more movies. Our next one might ruin your childhood.